Hey guys, so yesterday Eddie Hall and Thor Bjornsson had a face-to-face discussion over on IFL TV. If you haven't seen the full video, make sure you go and check it out. There is a link in the description below. I thought I'd bring you a few of my views on some of the points that were brought up. There was a few things discussed that I know for fact are wrong, so I wanted to sort of address some of those points and just give you my thoughts really on all of this and the lead up to Saturday night. So as I said, we just got done watching this and my glamorous assistant is going to read out some of the points that we kind of brought up and discussed together, and I'll give you guys my views. Glamorous assistant, over to you.
So at 7 minutes and 40 seconds, Eddie says that in 2017 he beat Thor fair and square.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair enough point. You know, any strongman competition that we get, you discuss the rules beforehand. Once you start, the events are the events, and the best man wins. And to be fair to Eddie, he was the best man that year. There was a lot of controversy over certain events such as the Viking press, but every single competition I've ever been to, there's always athletes talking about ifs and buts, you know, oh, if I did this, or if I did that, or if this didn't happen. That's just natural. Athletes do that all the time. The fact is, you go on what happens. And Eddie Hall performed exceptionally well. He won, I think, 3 of the events outright. He was in a good position going into the stones where he had a clear margin. And in the end, he ended up winning. He only won by 1 point in the end. But when you have that margin to work with, sometimes you do just work within that perimeter, whereas if you had to do a bit better, you're able to dig a little bit deeper. So from someone that was in the competition, I placed 7th in that show, I truly believe Eddie deserved the win in 2017.
So at 7 minutes 16 in the video, now some of this has been cut. Eddie said that it's no different to being punched in the face or being raped. Thor's slur on Eddie's win.
Saying ridiculous things like this. I hope this is just in the moment, not thinking something stupid's blurted out. But to compare rape or being punched in the face to a grown athlete, 2 competitive men not congratulating each other over a sporting event, come on, that's ridiculous.
At 8 minutes 30 in the video, Eddie Hall says that World's Strongest Man is the only competition that matters and the only competition anyone cares about.
Well, I don't think that's a very fair comment to make in the grand scheme of strongman. That's like a tennis player saying only the US Open matters or only Wimbledon matters. As an athlete, you want to go down as one of the greatest. To be one of the greatest, you've got to win all the major shows. Now, I agree with him that World's Strongest Man is the most popular worldwide. World's Strongest Man has the biggest reach in terms of popularity. And obviously, when you start out in strongman, that's the title you want to win. But to completely say that all these other shows don't matter, why would he have even entered them in the first place if that was the case? You know, guys like Brian Shaw that have won everything, Zadrunas, you know, all these greats that have won so many great shows. It's just, again, it comes down to these two not liking each other and saying things to get in each other's heads and winding each other up.
At 13 minutes and 30 seconds, in reference to Thor's 501 deadlift, Eddie says that it wasn't live streamed. Now, you commentated that event. I was there too. Was it live streamed? It was
100% live streamed. I had to chuck my family out of the house during COVID, make them go driving round just so I had a quiet house that I could commentate in. Now, there is... The truth is, some of the so-called live events that went out on WUS after that weren't live. But the original, actually the first few were all live up until the issue with the bench press. They realised putting it out live was very difficult to do in those type of circumstances. But I can assure you, when Thor did his 501 deadlift, it was 100% live. And if you go back and watch it, you see my reaction to Thor originally challenging Eddie. I was in a bit of a shock at the time at the reaction, and it was definitely live.
At 18 minutes 21 seconds into the discussion, Thor says that Eddie only won 1 title and Thor wouldn't be happy with that either if that was the extent of his...
Well, again, that's like saying, that's like what Eddie said earlier about there only being 1 big competition. This is now Thor trying to get back at Eddie for that comment. Ridiculous. Eddie's career in strongman, I think anyone that's getting into the sport would be overjoyed at. I know I've had a decent career, but I would have loved to be able to do what Eddie did. The world record on the deadlift, to win his dream of becoming world's strongest man. He was a 5-time British champion in a row. Eddie was clearly an exceptional strongman. So obviously a lot of this face-off is about building hype for this weekend's event. It's two of the biggest men ever in a boxing ring. Former World's Strongest Men winners, 2017 World's Strongest Man, 2018 World's Strongest Man. The only two men that have deadlifted 500 kilos or more. Now, we can talk about, was it in competition, was it out of competition? The fact is, these are two incredible athletes that myself, along with many people, have tremendous amount of respect for in terms of their athletic ability. And I really, really hope they sort out all their issues on the weekend, shake hands, and are done with this. Eddie, you did incredible. You were one of the best strongmen we've ever seen, certainly one of the best ever to come out of the UK. Thor was one of the greatest strongmen of all time. Both of them tremendous athletes. I like the fact that they're fighting. I think it's going to be a great event. I think we're all going to tune in and be entertained and excited. Get in that ring, give it all, both of you, and go and entertain. I mean, the one thing I did enjoy from this interview, or this face-to-face chat, we saw a little bit of that Eddie that we kind of loved at the end with the double dip with the sweets and stuff, that cheekiness, that kind of, you know, that's more banter, it's more entertaining. I like that stuff, you know, that's what made us like Eddie in the first place. But this aggressiveness and this hatred, I don't know, it must be tough. It must be really, really tough. And it's like the schoolboy kind of antics, calling each other names. You're two of the greatest athletes of all time. Get in that ring, fight hard, entertain everyone, and then let's move on. I'd love to see them both back in Strongman. That's not going to happen, unfortunately, but make sure you tune in Saturday night. It's 1 AM local time. It's 9 PM in the UK. It's free to watch on Segi TV. Make sure you guys go and click the link. I will make sure it's down in the description below. No sign up required. Saturday night, let's see who is the best out of these two and decide this once and for all.